Without further ado, we should recognize our distinguished guests to the high table. Chief Ikechukwu, please, FNSE, this is your welcome to the high table. Round of applause for you, please. Brand, Engineer J.E. Asaba, you're welcome to the high table, please. The guest speaker for today, our distinguished Vice Chairman and the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Delta State University, Abraka, Engineer Professor Hilary Owamah. Please, you're welcome to the high table. Is he not in the hall yet? Are we finding him? Engineer Dr. Anthony Baker, FNSE, Chairman, FNIEE, please come up to the high table, please. Engineer CC Chukura, FNSE, would give a good message on behalf of the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Alimasuya Rabiu, FNSE, to kickstart the activities for the day. Engineer Professor Hilary Owamah, FNSE, please come up to the high table. Can we all shine to put our hands, please? Can we all shine to our hands, please?
The chairman of the branch, Engineer Ikechukwu Collins, the distinguished guest speaker, Professor Engineer Hilary Owamah, most welcome, all the way from Abraka, distinguished fellows, members, graduate members, and inductees. You are welcome to this year's edition for induction of new members and public lecture of the Asaba branch. The National President, Engineer Rabiu, the Speaker of Lafayette, is unavoidably absent. He has graciously asked that we stand in for him to ensure that this program sails on smooth waters and arrive at the anchor where it's supposed to be in destination. That is the success of the lecture and the subsequent induction of new members. So first, let me state the apologies and in the process also congratulate the new engineers. Can you please stand up for the location? All new locations. We are saying congratulations. He that has chosen engineering has chosen the best profession. As you set sail on this journey, go with the compass of integrity. Go with the band of professionalism. Go with the instrument of authority in what you are best to do. That note, congratulations as you sit down. To start with this. You may recall the three things I have said now. What are they? Integrity. What again? Professionalism. And what again? Authority. I have put authority last differently, but it should be the first. You are authority in this field, and the only way to exert your authority is by doing so your work with professionalism and integrity. IPA for short. IPA, there is a mind for it. Because on this journey, I have been on this since 1978. And I got registered in 1985. No, I got current 1985. I got registered in 1984. So I've seen many responses, and this is my own journey, which we have started today. And my prayer is that the Lord, and wherever God is at, especially the Almighty God, will lead you victoriously in your journey, so that you will design, you will maintain, you will improve, and you will stand for authority, whatever you are doing. For other members, the challenge still is there. The journey is not over until it is over. And what I'm saying now, it is like engineering is not over until you are in the grave. So if you are an engineer, there is no retirement there. You can be called out even a short notice. I remember when you call this. Last 2 years, I was thinking I've done everything with procurement. The VC of Dennis Osunde University came back from Abuja from tech form, and they told me to please come over and help them, that they have told me in Abuja that if he has anything about procurement, he should go to Chukura. Because see, is there any senior engineer in Asaba that could help to do this procurement? They wanted urgently. And they told him, who are most senior engineers you have there? He said they didn't Chukura. I said this. So from Abuja, he sent the text to me to be in the attendance board. That was last year. When I got there, the approach is director of works, director of physical planning, director of audit, director of computing. He told me to go to his office and group them. And group them. I said, yes, group them, please. I'm told you can do it. So, for a plan, went into his office. That grouping that with the proposal, the modification and tendering valuation of the tenders. They say on going to Abuja the following week. It was a Friday. Luckily for me, I have a book called, which I titled Essential Skills for Professional Engineering Practice and Management. So I asked my brother, go home and bring 4 copies for this 4 people. While he was away, I was not teaching him. Before I go into the 9 steps, the copy procurement, downloaded them. And under 30 units, my brother came back, and then nobody could 1 by 1. And now we now went to the tender form immediately. They said we should do pre-qualification and analyze the tender for the VC, even though we're not machine. Since this is for computer, to purchase computer and to install the safety lights, the university can do this quickly. And to give us time to score these temperatures and to them. Under 2 hours, we are done. Came back to technical board. We spent 4 hours. From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We are done. And the teacher said, how will I pay you? And please take his details. I told him to say, no, I have worked for you down with my heart. You must pay me as current certificate. That is current scale of fees. How many of you here knows about current scale of fees? You may not know, but they are aware of it. Otherwise, they'll be asking you to work for them for free of charge. Most engineers are doing that. But as soon as you are doing that, you are mining yourself and others. So I told you, no. I'm going to bring my feet to you. I brought the current state of things, take to almost 400,000. 120,000 for 4 hours. Told him I was being lenient. The next thing I saw for the news the following day that they called me and the Amicus Universitaire. Not even friend of the university and not a consultant. They are approved 200,000. Look at it, I used to take money. Know this. You must learn also to reject money, especially money like a chicken without a neck. What did I say? Have you ever seen one? So any money that comes that way, what do? Reject it without fear or favor. The one that has let it come, that is not money you take. Please, that is authority and integrity. So actually, one thing I just allowed my account 200,000 at the University. So I took that. So engineering is no longer no requirement. As you are there and you know your work, they can call you. Make sure you have a footprint. If you have that footprint, they will look it for you. That's number 2. Number 3, finally, is that to welcome the speaker. I don't want to speak long because I'm the president. I welcome you. You have been a very valuable resource person to Nigeria, to Delta State, and to this branch. Please, keep it talking. Keep it talking. When you are doing well, when you are not doing well, so has to do keep it talking. Go to primary school, secondary school, in the university, they don't say keep it talking. They will just give you a certificate. But if you primary school and secondary school, how many you let principal tell you keep it off. It means you are keeping it off. And I'm saying to you, keep it off, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure After he will speak to us today, and as spoken to us, we will also tell him people that. On that note, I welcome all of you and God bless you all.
Yule Asaba, Engineer Ikechukwu, is an embodiment of wisdom, and we have seen God and summarized in the three letters, 2 years. I, E, and what? And A. I is what? Integrity, professionality, and what? Authority. Being an engineer is big things that important. From today, we begin to see those things. I also want to recognize the high table engineer press to correct Chairman FNSE Asaba. This is the round of applause. I also want to recognize the high table engineer is Obatari Door, past Chairman Afward, is our title. Our audience for today, you are all welcome. I see you shining, and I'm happy to see you all here. Thank you very much. We'll go next to the public lecture presentation because Miriam has taken so much of today's time. After the presentation, we'll have an interactive session and question and answer session for the induction for the new members and presentation of awards to our 7 members. So, to read the citation of our presenter, I will call on Engineer Fortune Model to come to the podium and please take the citation of our presenter. You can step forward. That citation is done.
And what have you, smart transportation system can play a transformative role in improving mobility and reducing accidents. The next point is disaster prediction and early warning system. Like I said, we couldn't just be there and flood will just come and take us every year. Let me even ask us a question. This flood that has been occurring since 2012, what have we done as a country? It's our duty just to predict and never to make budget for evacuating people. Is it a normal thing to evacuate people every year? Sometimes I wonder what they are doing. Does it mean that we cannot get the remote and immediate cause of this flooding? Every time we blame Cameroon for opening up their dam, is it that we don't want Cameroon to open their dam? Cameroon must open it down now, because once the maximum water level is reached and they don't open, the dam collapses. And when it collapses, it will be one for single. So whenever looking at their opening, they are prepared to Nigeria will forget to open it. I'm telling you now, we will forget and the government will give an excuse. One thing I like about us that we know how to polish our excuses, and the police never were very stupid. They will not remember. So they must open the we need to look at our own also. The section of can have a dam that what is coming from them. So it doesn't take anything. We can do it, but we don't do it. So we can't be having flooding every year. We don't even have information about our river. As I'm talking to you now, nobody knows the flow velocity of the Niger. Nobody knows the proper geometry of the Niger. No professor of water engineering knows it. Nobody knows the depth. Nobody. It is still where Mongo Park left it. That issue still there. Nobody at all. It's a problem. When we see ourselves as a people, that's why the only God and this pastor who are praying because it's a very big problem. So we should be able to predict all of these things, whether monitoring technology, satellite-based Earth observation system, geospatial information system, emergency communication system. The devastating flood of 2012 and 2022 demonstrated the importance of investing in disaster prediction and early warning system, given the devastating losses that came with it. Some big men were moved to that primary school where IC used to be before, the one that came in 2012. Then after 2012, it came again, it continued to come until that major one in 2022. Yet we're expecting another one, and then we're not doing anything. So engineering should respond. They should respond as an engineer. When I mean engineering, national engineering policy, natural engineering consciousness. It is not you. Are you getting the understanding? Because it must be driven by government, and then the engineers will rise to the occasion. So that's what I mean. So the Minister of Works must look into all of this. The Minister of Transportation must look into all this. And what my problem is that we have people ministering to all of these things. Well, someone ministering to water resources, someone, because when you are a minister, this is a stop to water resources, you are a shepherd to water resources, a shepherd to what? That's what this ministry means. A shepherd. How are you shepherding them? Permit me to use that word in parentheses. How are you doing it? But that's the issue, because it is not just enough to answer the name. What are you doing to improve the lives of the people? I am not saying we are not trying, but I'm saying that there is still so much gap to be filled. And then we need to rise to the occasion. And what I'm saying is that some of these inductees to become commissioners tomorrow, some of us here to become ministers tomorrow. When you get there, don't follow the trend. Try to see that something is done that will move us from where we are now to modern way of doing things, modern way of building, modern way of maintenance, modern way of designing that will get Nigeria to where it should be. The next is smart infrastructure monitoring. We need to monitor, like I said about this bridge, structural health of buildings, pipeline surveillance. Well, I think Nigeria by now should be moving away from telling people to monitor pipelines. We are not saying it's bad, but we should be moving away to using technology to monitor it. Are we getting the understanding? Just listen to me, because we cannot continue like this to use human beings to monitor till 100 years time. There are countries that have more oil than us, and they are monitoring. My problem is even that I even wonder if we know how much barrel of crude oil we produce actually, underline that word, in a day. I don't think we know very well, because it's an amount of people. So these are conditions we need to monitor all of this. And then let's artificial intelligence and public health. Artificial intelligence is one of the most transformative of our time. Today, AI is increasingly being deployed in public safety management across the world. What are its applications? Surveillance, traffic management, cyber security, threat detection, disaster forecasting, infrastructure monitoring, and emergency response coordination. Now, also discover that through AI, AI-powered systems that can detect suspicious activities, AI enables cybersecurity platforms, and what have you. Nigeria's growing digital economy presents significant opportunity for AI deployment. However, it also raises important concerns relating to ethics, privacy, and transparency. So what should we do as engineers? We must ensure the deployment of AI is responsible, ethical, and beneficial to society. So if there's any engineer here who cannot use AI and you are less than 50 years old, then you're already backward, because there's nothing AI cannot do for you now. So the best thing is try as much as possible to learn it, and it's quite very simple, because what AI recognizes pattern and it uses it to predict better for you, to even give you better designs. But however, since you already know where you are going to, once it's produced, you'll be able to join what have been produced for you, and it saves you time and gives you a high level of efficiency. So, and there are a couple of them that can do so many things. So you can learn, unlearn, and relearn, because AI has come to stay. Even the plane you enter into is driven by AI. Are you getting when they say auto drive and auto pilot? It's AI that they're telling you. Do you get it now? The self-driving vehicle is AI. In fact, your phone is AI enabled. Are we getting it now? So we need to move up as engineers. Now, let's quickly look at our understanding of engineering solution for flood management. Say flooding is a big problem. It makes a big problem, especially in the Niger Delta region. And the consequences are plenty. We have loss of lives. A lot of people have lost their life because of the destruction of homes. You know, you will not know that destruction of homes is a big problem until the house you built using retirement money is submerged by flood and it gets destroyed and you become a tenant overnight. You will know what it means. Damage to infrastructure, environmental degradation, displacement of communities, and what have you. These are flood problems. Now, what are the key solutions to these flood problems? One, sustainable drainage systems. Sustainable, when I mean sustainable, it is not the drainage that accumulates somewhere. That's why, as I'm here, I will not mention. I won't mention. For my father's Now, this drainage was supposed to, what if I describe now? If we, let me use artificial intelligence to describe it. Now, this drainage, assuming it is coming like this, it's supposed to hit that road to join the other drain. Are you getting it now? Then to move. Now, it got halfway, and it stopped. And then, caps were used now to design the remaining one as if it was a slab on an existing drain, but no drain was existing. So it was only how that was done. The other side, you see caps. So they ran the caps all through like a slab and slapped the one that was done. So there's continuous slab, but the drain was half. So when it drains, it blocks there and goes to the post compound. In Asaba here, very close to us here. That's wickedness. Such a person can't make it. That's wickedness. You don't see the truth of the matter is that if the money is not enough for the project, declare that it's not enough. But anyone you must do it well. It's not somewhere, I don't want to mention the name. Yeah. So once it rains, it moves into people's compound. Every now and then, we are looking how to resolve it because I'm an interested party to that particular something. We are looking how to resolve it now, but it's not quite easy because it's going to be another award. But what still is that one of the properties is submerged. Is it one of the commissioner for works attends? So it's the problem. And possibly, I don't know, maybe it's what you start of pretending over, you know, so it's an embarrassment now to do what I'm talking about. It's very big embarrassment. I'm looking at you. So we're even called a couple of us to look at it. Okay, it was even there, they that told us now that this is stuff, so we need to check it. So what am I trying to say? When you have the privilege to do engineering, do it well. You know, so there was a time that do I want you to remove my microphone to our director about that? That's because let me talk this one. Now there was a time that we had problem in the campus. Our hostels, I don't want this one to be recorded, please. Our hostels, we don't remove that one. Our hostels are having problems. You know, the septic tanks were collapsing. And then the really works, infrastructure, flood retention facility, to spatial flood mapping, wetland restoration, and what have you. Flood management should move beyond emergency response toward long-term resident plan. Like we thank God for the one happening as the storm water control. Very, very good. Okay. But the only advice of life is that all must be changed. All must be changed to lead to the Owamah River. Because anyone that didn't join the order will still be a disaster on the road. I will get you to understand that's what. So you must look at all of them and see that all of them have changed together. So that when you get filled up, you get into the other drain, and it continues like that until it gets to at that point, you just make sure that we take care of scorching. At that point, when we look at the velocity, you understand me, and it empties into that pressure, it doesn't scorch. When it scorches, the erosion continues from there into the tank again. So these are some of the things, but we can't go that are getting it, okay? So flood must be controlled. It's part of resident engineering. Now, building safer city, say the defense become an urban city. When organization creates opportunity for economic growth, it also presents challenges. Traffic congestion, insecurity, falling environmental pollution, pressure on public infrastructure. And without proper planning, these challenges can undermine public safety. I give you an example. When you go to the urban area, everybody's building without plan. You just have money, you draw your plan, you do not plan. It's going to be a problem tomorrow because some of those parts have become waterways. I will get to that. That's why now we have too many closes in Asaba. Everywhere is a close. That is caused by human being. There is no, when God created the world, there was no close. When you see any close, know that one mad person has bought a land where he's not supposed to buy it, but he has money. That's why there's a close. Are you there? So try to know that mad person, even though you cannot do anything to him. That's why there's a close. They say that for close, for go for close. So and at the end of the day, you are blocking a road. So as organization is cool, we must plan it in such a way that it follows the natural layout. You must follow the master plan also, but the question do we really, I don't know if I have the master plan, but we really have, but that's what it is. If we have, it's been updated. If it's been updated, we have access to it. Then if we have access to it, are we following it? Because these are some issues. But I doubt we have the current one. So we must take care of urbanization. Now, key component of smart cities, intelligent transportation, smart system, and all of this. I've mentioned all of this before. I'm trying to close now. Now, the challenge of building collapse. Why are building collapsing in Nigeria? One, poor structural design, use of substandard material, inadequate supervision, engagement of unqualified personnel. Everybody's a builder. That's still my video. I don't know how we can end that one. Everybody, once you don't have work, you're a builder. Somebody called me one day. A chief in Owamah. His place is very close to our elder's place, but I will not mention it. His town is close to Asaba. A chief. He called me. He said he's a major contractor like this one, and he wants us to talk. So when he came, I said, what is your qualification? And he told me read economics. I was imagining the animosity in him, the temerity to become a professor of civil engineering, a fellow, to come and discuss with him project when he read the economics. And unfortunately, he has opened it and I decided to invite discussion, but then after they didn't continue the discussion in today. You understand? Because what is the projects? He's a big man. The projects he has done, I have not done it. The money he has, I don't have it. So these are the issues. So FNSE or Korean, whoever should wake up. It's not this one that everyone is struggling to be president or Korean registrar. It is not, there are no entitlements and title. No one has lived up to expectation. Tell them I said so. They're not living up to expectation. They're not up to now. We've not started indexing engineers. The faculties of engineering are admitting as many as they can admit. Why FNSE is not doing like that? Nursing is not doing like that. We don't even check staff strength. We agree. So engineering has become a dumping ground. Has become the market. It's not business administration. And that's why if somebody graduates with a BM in civil engineering, they cannot distinguish between column and beam. He doesn't even know. And he has graduated. Because once you bring them like that, after some time, you start making one to give them need to go. And if you refuse to do that, you become a difficult person. So sometimes you manage and give this one, and the person graduate. Because you cannot keep the person forever too. And you cannot have 100 students and graduate only 20. If not, the HOD will be a trouble that is so everybody didn't teach well. So these are that's why we must be mindful of the feedstock. That's what they keep medicine. They are mindful of the feedstock. They raise the cutoff so high, they give them sizable tab so that they are careful of what is entering. Because input determines output. You understand? Influence determines effluent. If there is no influence, there will be effluent. It's also so we must be so please, for those of us who know the Korean registrar, president, tell them to solve. We must begin to index our students. We must raise the bar. If they cannot do it, let them appoint me. I will do it. It's not a big deal. Heaven will not fall when you get this thing done right. Heaven won't fall. So please, because engineering is a profession to pride in, not a profession you should be hiding. Please, let me end it here so that my license will not be withdrawn. So non-compliance of our approved building regulation and caution and all of those. Now, what is the challenge again? The solution requires that there should be strict enforcement of building codes, engagement of qualified professionals, regular inspection of construction projects, adoption of health monitoring technologies, stronger regulatory oversight, and greater professional accountability. As engineers, we must continue to advocate quality, competence, and integrity in all aspects of the public safety. Never be sacrificed for profit, convenience, or expediency. Very, very important. Sometimes we are confronted with what is beyond the knowledge. I was doing the consultancy for one company. Okay, I was confronted with either accepting what was being given to me or standing by what I claim to be right. And what was coming this side, giving my level, giving my poverty coefficient that time. What? Because at that time, my poverty coefficient was 0.7. You understand? It was big. But again, people know me too well. I'm not glad, but if you put my name on Google Scholar, you put on GPT, you go anywhere. Yesterday, Chairman took me out yesterday. We were just sitting somewhere. And somebody passed there, I don't even know him. He said, Prof, you are here. If you can come, we are in Chile. So if you can come here, then we are going so you should order anything you want. I was there. I was started making order. I don't know him to do that. I didn't even tell him thank you. And it happens every sometimes I go to shop, right? I don't pay for anything. Before I finish buying, people have come to pay. That's what we call it social capital, call it credibility. You understand? Every engineer must grow a competence, character, and integrity to get credibility. Because you have credibility now, money will come tomorrow. I always tell people, anything that gives you money that you cannot put in your CV, put into trouble tomorrow. So that's why you take it slowly, you build capacity. Certainly it will come, because when people don't know what you know, system will look for you.
Of course.
Are we getting the understanding? Yeah. So public safety must never be sacrificed for profit and all of those. Now, critical infrastructure form the backbone of national development. This includes power generation, oil and gas infrastructure, water supply system, telecommunication, and water. These are the critical infrastructure. We must protect them through surveillance system, remote sensing, and then smart sensor system. And then the role of the engineer, we all know what the engineer should do, which is the slide before conclusion, that engineering is not merely a profession, it is a public trust. Every pre-designed, every building constructed, every road developed, every water system installed, and every technology deployed ultimately affects human life. So engineers must therefore serve and guide public safety and sustainable development. To fulfill this responsibility, engineers must prioritize public safety and personal interest, uphold integrity and professional ethics, maintain competence through continual professional development, promote sustainability, innovation and emerging technology, provide practical solutions to societal challenges. The engineer is therefore not only a builder of infrastructure, but also a protector of society and a strategic partner in national development. In many respects, the resilience of a nation is a reflection of the competence, integrity, and vision of its engineer. If Nigeria will depend significantly on the quality of engineering decisions made today. And then the academia and the government must also relate together to ensure the academia produces new knowledge, the industry will use this knowledge, and government must try as much as possible to ensure that there is a policy that brings the three together. That's what we're talking about today. I'm trying to round up. So I read this one, the future of engineering for public safety. What is the future? The engineer must prepare themselves for the future through continuous learning, innovation, and adaptation. Nigeria must invest significantly in research and development to ensure that local solutions are developed for local challenges. Not only continue to have faculties of engineering, there are no labs, there are no facilities, and the good engineer, because there's no money in teaching. Every good engineer now wants to work elsewhere. So we are now having the second and third level lecturing. And it is discouraging garbage out. So there is a need for government to look into that to ensure that high-level professionals are engaged through improving the literature and investing in laboratories and workshops, enable us produce the best of hand that we want the nation tomorrow. The kind of profession must remain forward-looking, solution-oriented, and globally connected. The future belongs to societies that can successfully combine technology, innovation, sustainability, and resilience. And I conclude by saying, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the future will not be determined merely by the abundance of our natural resources, but by our ability to harness engineering knowledge, innovation, and technology to solve societal challenges. The lessons from recent flood, building collapse, infrastructure failure, cyber threats, and security challenges across Nigeria remind us that resilience is not a luxury, it is a necessity. The prevention is recovery. As engineers, we must therefore champion proactive solutions, embrace innovation, and continuously deploy technology in ways that safeguard lives, protect infrastructure, and strengthen national development. Before I take my seat, therefore, Mr. Chairman, permit me to leave us with this thought that the strength of a nation is not measured by the height of its building or the size of its economy, but by the resilience of its system and the safety of its people. As engineers, we are privileged to design both, and we must be seen input in the interest of the nation. Let me sincerely acknowledge the Nigerian Software Engineers, especially our chairman and the ESCO, for giving me this privilege of coming once again to lend my voice to this discussion that is important to the life of our nation. I congratulate all the members and encourage you to uphold the highest standard of competence, integrity, and service to humanity. The future of engineering in Nigeria is bright, and the responsibility for shaping that future now rests all of us. Therefore, say thank you for your attention. God bless the Nigerian Software Engineers. God bless the state. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and thank you.
distinguished as fellows doing the welcome again from the flights, returns, the flight of resilience, the flight of innovation, and we have landed back to the hall. Can we encourage him again by giving a sounding occasion? The sounding. Professor Hilary, you turn it again. And again we say, keep it up. What do you say? Going to go places. Because this is just the starting point. For the 4 years, stay counting to 26 to reach 70. By the time he's 70, I'm not sure he'll be with us here. He'll be demanded in England. He'll be demanded in New York. And the area where they have found a way from making doctors to that is not written are more important than what is written. Did you catch any of them? I caught 3 of the things he said that are not written. Let me just give you one. He talked about life. That it is not the amount of money you have, means whether you're a big man. It is the wealth you have within you, the contentment you have within you that can keep you going. Because if you now say you're a billionaire, you're a billionaire. And if you say you're a billionaire, before long you're looking for billionaire. But if you are contented with just 1,000 before you know it, you will get more than you need. That's one thing I do. So learn about life. Life is not determined by how much you have, but about where you can say, this is okay, this is not okay. Once you're able to do that, it is when the influences are there. Thank you. Number 2, is there any questions? We shall take 3 or 4. No, Mr. Safety is here with us. Safety, number 1, chapter 1. Number 2 is there. I think we're done. And number 3, question, not question. But if you have devotions, it's also welcome. But we'll be brief so that we can go to the main purpose, the second main purpose of this assembly, which is to induct the new members. But please, I will ask Professor Hilary, you know, when I was growing up, I worked in the university for 30 years, and I was Director of Office Plan and Works, this office for more than 20 years. So I found that once you become a professor, they put down they don't contribute again. But this guy is doing what they should be doing. And that was why I floated the Journal of Water Quality Environment and Green Energy. Is the editor-chief. This one will go there, this paper will go there forward. Because that magazine, that journal is meant to have high impact on society. From professors, retired generals, retired general managers, retired directors like you. Anything that you have that can, from a experiential research paper, is more important than the one you use to get a promotion. If policymakers can look at this paper, they have more to learn than us. But how do we get them to do so? It is by putting such things in that kind of journal. That is like standing up for it. And some faculties, some departments are calling for collaboration. And very soon, it will be domiciled in one of the departments for universities. So that people like ideas can talk. And in a seller published paper magazine journal. Speaker, thank you very much. You have done well. God So if you know your pastor, the way you make reference, people is encouraging. Many Nigerians are still doing it, even those who go to church. The way I was brought up English way, we book way, private school, secondary school, university, go here, walk here, until I retire. At home now, I found that their ways are not our ways. They still go to see making doctors. They still go to do oracle. A small thing. They want to monitor it through going to see making doctors and alpha to do oracle. They see what I found too is that they adulterate the results. They pollute the investigation they have got from the alpha. You see now, corruption here, corruption there. Corruption in the church, corruption in the tradition. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? So I am careful mixing with them because the values are different. But they are very strong in that value. They don't they can kill you if you try to evangelize them. So just talk small and leave them to their conscience and to the God. But they are truthful. They are truthful. But the important thing that they are going to see, like Saul, who are going to see someone that is dead. Some of them are not scripturally correct, but they do it. They worship other gods that they don't worship. And therefore, so pray for them that they should be relieved from that Ijeoma monitoring events scientifically. Once they do that, I think Nigeria will go a long way. Question number one.
Thank you very much, Asaba. You have really done justice. And those who have questions, I'll get your questions very fast. Questions, please.
Just spoke my mind. But two, I have no questions for Prof. Call the FNSE of Nigerian engineering. Check all the achievements of the FNSE. He has achieved it for Nigerian engineering. I wish he could be at the help of every single vantage engineering position. Just like I said. Now he says, what I mean that I say NS president, Korean president, name it. He at his age. Remember, nobody took 3, I took just 1. So anytime you have the opportunity to do engineering, do it well. Now you say again, there's no money in lecturing. So there's no money, you're broken that record.
No, don't use for that.
No, it doesn't want to claim it. You've shown us practically how engineering should be. And the topic today, building a resilient society. I want you to just do one thing for me. We have in grade 1, Owamah here, we have in first, Owamah, and then our colleagues Osunde. I don't care whether they will hand over to other people. Give us a charge, at least the branches, and the helmsmen here. Give us a charge and say, I want these branches to pick up this one and action it. If you go through your presentation, you see a lot of things that we're supposed to be doing that we should practically, because this is not something we just take, like Dr. said, digest what we have received today and take up one. Now we have now China, we have now Singapore, we have now Malaysia. Today, I hope you know that some of their presidents are engineers. The engineers in those countries, we say until we become politicians, we may not be able to change these things. No. The engineers in those countries, on their own, with their technical abilities, started causing changes such that it got to a point, people say, no. Instead of having these people, politicians come sit here as a president, let's get these people bringing these solutions to begin to sit in the place of leadership. So we should be identifying problems and we should be solving them from the angle that we have capacity to solve. So our branch, Gedi, just like that. So I want you to give us a chance. Probably, I know you can do it now. I want to do it now. I know you can do that. If you're not, go back. The technical committee, probably set up a committee, go through this document, and pick out something for our branch that we should action. Something that is simple for us to achieve. And let's say that because a change that we can take to government with authority and say, give us this, let's handle it. You have a record of what you've done, bring some that we should solve. But I want to thank you. I'm here not to ask you any question, but to thank you for, I say I won't miss today's lecture, for giving us the opportunity to hear from you. And leave this one for every one of us. Prof mentioned it, probably will not know. The solution for all these problems, like he highlighted one, even though he took up the mic to do that, will come from education, to come from learning, to come from research. They gave you a consultancy job to do to solve a problem. Instead of going straight to say, let's find a solution to this problem, you say, let's just identify first what the problem actually is. And then you now realize exactly what your design should be. That should be the way to approach every single problem that we have in society. So thank you very much, Prof, for availing yourself, the opportunity to be with us, your FNSE Asaba, but to come here and try to see that we part leadership, most importantly. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Question number 2, please.
Before number 2 comes, immediately. Number 2 comes, you know, the challenge to Prof. Can we identify a practical challenge that we can face as a branch? It's not for Prof alone. All of us should think of it. But the one that has come to my mind now, you know, sometimes we think that engineering is not advocacy. There's advocacy in engineering. The one that came to my mind as we are speaking is 2012, there was flooding. We were evacuated. 2022, there was flooding. People were evacuated. What advocacy can we as a branch lead to ensure that the design small dams that should be in Nigeria are okay? Advocacy, can we take that one up every month? We'll remind the government every month we'll do that. Just like when Bring Back Our Girls happened, and they were doing that. Even though now the girls are not back, but it made a point. And we have a way of reminding government. We have decided, it has been decided, an agreement. And Cameroon said we are going to sway back the age. We're going to be releasing every other year, every year. Therefore, these dams will be returning dams in Nigeria. So to avoid these dams, can we do the advocacy as my mind? Let others think of it and see how generate more challenges that we have to throw back society or do practically. Thank you.
And question number 2, if the mic please. Second question. Somebody wanted to ask a question.
Number 2, please. Question number 2.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Which good?
President, Engineer Alimasuya, Rabiu, represented by the winner of Asaba, Engineer Ikechukwu, the chairman, FNSE Asaba, and the guest speaker. I was really impressed from this lecture today. I recall as a student 2 years ago when I came from Warri to listen to the distinguished speaker also on the waste to energy lecture, and indeed I was not left in doubt. My question is regarding the Nigerian railway system as regards the topic for today, engineering technology for public safety. Sometime last year, we were informed of a transition incident, I think around the same hour. Last year, precisely around the correct state. Sometime 2 years ago, something of similar incident happened around Agbaru area. This year again, we just informed, I think 2 weeks ago, of a vandalism incident that led to even the train itself derailing around the angle, which is within our facility. And the distinguished lecturers focused on smart transportation system, smart surveillance system, disaster prediction and early warning system, and AI-enabled surveillance management system. As it stands today, if you go online to book for your train to Warri Takwe along that route, say you're going for Korean or the Nigerian Engineering Games, or even the law school induction happening in July, it currently shows the book is unavailable. There is no, it will be available in the next 2 weeks. There is no, please, we are not, just to summarize, we know the cost of air for us young engineers. So what are we doing? Whose role is it? What can we do? This is about, I think, 2 weeks to that event, to those events. What are we doing? What is even the cause? It has not even been said that it's the cause of what's happening. It's the problem. Why is it reoccurring around that angle of Agbaro axis? What are we saying about it? What is being done? And when can we get that line working again so that we can move along that route? Thank you very much.
Okay, that's Prof. Who's there? Owamah, yes. As a third question, I use are we okay with 2 questions? Any other person? Okay, so okay, there's a hand here, please. Okay, so somebody behind. We'll have the third question.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. So, question is concerning undergraduate. When Peter talks about guarding our influence, so for our affluence. So my question is this: when you talk of admitting students into engineering programs, especially civil engineering, and my focus is on this, because you have societies like NICE, FNSE, and SPE. Personally, in my school, we have NICE and SPE, which I'm a member of SPE and NICE. But when it comes to civil engineering societies, from what I've experienced, it's not as communal as something as SPE. And I feel that also affects the students' intention towards the cause, because you don't have a very large society where everybody feels that they're included in the process, or they have more exposure to what actually goes on, or they can feel that, okay, this is what I'm actually reading towards. And that may be the cause of why people are graduating without actually having technical know-how, because the interest isn't really cultivated in them. So I feel this is also one of the problems, and I would like to ask you if my opinion is correct, and if there's something that we can do to work on that.
Thank you. There's a hand in front here. That's the last question we'll take. Oh, Sam, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have a question, and my question goes like this. From the team we discussed building a resilient society and engineering secure technology for public safety, my question goes like this. As technology advances rapidly, how can engineers ensure that innovation strengthens societal resilience rather than creating new vulnerabilities? How can engineers ensure that innovation strengthens societal resilience rather than creating new vulnerabilities?
Okay, okay. Yes. Okay, how can we not use AI and cause more problems to ourselves? Okay. Prof, would give the mic to you. Once again, I want to sincerely appreciate members of the high table, senior engineers present here, colleagues, students, doctors. It's a privilege to be asked questions after my presentation. You know, as a teacher, when finished teaching, there are no questions, things are involved. So that I didn't teach well, or the student understood very well. But education, because recently I just started the Mogadi diploma in education, so I'm a student in those.
hoping to graduate by September. So, in the course of our graduate discussion, we are told that there must be response from the students to show that lecture has been delivered. If you call it a question. So thank God that you go and ask questions. I will start from the very last, so I don't forget she asked. So she talked about now that technology is advancing rapidly, so how can engineers ensure that innovations, advancement in technology will reduce relevant residencies that will not further endanger or enhance vulnerability? I think that's the question you asked, so that there will be more vulnerability. Now, if you look at engineering as it is, what actually brings about vulnerability is the practice of engineering without sustainability in mind. We do a couple of projects without environmental impact assessment. And sometimes we do environmental impact assessment theoretically. We just carry it, okay, a consultant is given environmental impact assessment to do for a bridge in the Warri. And then he has another one to do for a bridge in Asaba. He just changes everywhere there is Warri, and then changes the kilometer and packaging. Like it happens in this country. People don't know. Now, he will not come to Asaba to do any investigation. He will not investigate the water. He will not investigate the land. He will not investigate flora and the fauna. He will not investigate the existing conditions. And so at the end of the day, you will discover that even when problems come out, that environmental impact will not be able to do anything. Because the purpose of an AIA is to anticipate issues in the course of a project being constructed when the project is in use, and develop mitigation strategies before the problem begins to come. So first is that we must practice engineering ethically and professionally. And that shows that you cannot do any design without an environmental impact assessment. That's number one. Then number two is that you cannot do any design or any construction without having sustainability in your mind. And what does sustainability mean? Like I said before, that the project, first, if you are doing a road now, and the road is to last for 10 years, that is the return period or the design period. Now, if that road does not last up to that 10 years, you have not solved the problem of resilience. You have increased vulnerability. Are we getting the understanding? So that's why it's a call that will be practiced with almost integrity. So my word for the inductees and the person who answered this question is that as you graduate and enter into the field, please go in one with integrity. Number one, observe the rules and the regulations in the profession. It's also happened to medical doctors. If you are not a careful medical doctor, you continuously forget NICE in people's stomach. That was not what you were taught to. Nobody taught you to forget NICE. But because you are careless, are you getting the understanding? And that's the problem. So it happens in engineering, it happens in nursing. I've seen nurses that get full injection and then the leg got condemned. Have you not seen such? That was not what the person was taught. But the person didn't approach the job with dedication, commitment, takes our professionalism. Once you use professionalism, you must work well. I'm telling you, you see, I've been offered some things that my heart will not say because of projects. It is not easy to resist some of those things. But sometimes when you also know that the person who's offering you this has the capacity to nail you, it's not only I didn't reject some of them just because I'm too old. But because I know the person is bigger than me, has more contact than I have, and the thing is like a bait. Are you getting the understanding? So please, practice engineering with integrity. Once you practice integrity and professionalism, then you'll be able to solve the very problem. I give you another example. Somebody did that page that stopped somewhere that I gave you as an example. In Asaba here, somebody certified it. Are you getting the idea? Somebody designed, somebody supervised, somebody certified, and the drain stopped somewhere, and they slapped the entire plate from the beginning to the end as if it connected to the other drain. Somebody did it, a human being, and that was an increased vulnerability because whenever it rains, that environment gets severely flooded. That is vulnerability. That is a problem because somebody may have taken money, somebody must have become induced, and somebody may not have done his or her work. I want you to understand it. So please, the way to avoid vulnerability is practice engineering with integrity, with character, with ethics and professionalism. In fact, what makes a profession is ethics. There are ethics of every profession. There are ethics. So if you follow that ethic, you won't have someone for it. Just like vehicle. But the woman that designed that vehicle told you not to overspeed. It's okay, 60, 80, 100 kilometers per hour. But some people run 160. And when there is problem, they want to blame Toyota. They want to blame government. They want to blame the wizard. But there is ethics of driving. Some people drive and they are making call. Is that what we taught in driving school? Getting the understanding. So please, to avoid vulnerability in engineering, practice integrity and professionalism. Now somebody has to say about the train station problem. You see, you have asked this is a very good question, but you are asking, this is the same kind of question I would have asked if I were on the other side, that if I was still your age, you know, having the kind of hope you have about Nigeria, you know. Are you getting the idea of that? Yeah, I'm all of those. But now that I'm getting older, and my teeth are now falling off. I've lost 2 teeth now. So my sense has improved so much. And when I was registered through my I asked questions here so much. There was one problem was still solid waste. I had so many questions. If I don't problem with solid waste, I won't ask anything. During our adoption, I don't know if my brother is here. Yeah, he got all that. I was asked so many questions. So I never start to see him. And I went to see him. But these days, I won't ask all of those things. So, sir, the problem is that you can't solve that problem. That is the problem. Are you getting the understanding? So you can't solve that problem, but it's a national problem. Systemic and structural. It's a problem of a failing nation and a failing state and a failing people and a failing culture. Are you getting? First and foremost is that is not even the kind of rail system you should have. That's not kind of rail. That is the one they used in 1960 and 1950. That's not the time that you go abroad now. That's not the time you see. Number one, and it was done recently by somebody who prides himself that they have done very well as Minister for Transportation. I don't want to mention them. So number two, the train you are seeing, there's not even the kind of train which will be seen in contemporary times. And it's unfortunate also. And you cannot do anything about it. I cannot do anything about it. So all we need to do is to take heart for God is true. You understand the idea? Number three, those vandals will continue to vandalize until there is appropriate monitoring system and the willingness to bring them to book when they are caught. For now, there is no monitoring electronic digital monitoring system. Also for now, there is no willingness to bring bandits to book. So you must take it easy, and what you do is since the rails are not to use slow and brake. You understand me? Or if that place is not so important, don't go. But it is very important, you pray before you use the road, or you ask your parents to help you with flight tickets. Okay? And that's what, but like as I am now, there are places I don't bother myself. Once you are taking me outside of Delta State and airport there, that journey must be able to pay for itself. Since I was born, I've never flown with my money. Everywhere I flew to, and I fly all over the world. If that place I'm going to cannot take care of the flight ticket, let's do it by Zoom. I won't trouble myself. You understand? Because the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. They talk about interest, personal interest. Are you getting the understanding? So please, that is the problem. This thing you are saying, they love you. Where school did you graduate from? Full break. Okay. This problem you are talking about began from when you were in full break. There would have been very large. You are best pistol, but you go to class outside. Not that you need best pistol. Are you getting that? So we are praying that when it gets to you people's turn to be leaders in this country, that you will do it well. Is that when can you believe that? No, listen, you will be a leader one day. I asked this kind of question some time ago, but today I'm academy, and I'll take this one off record. Today, you hear what I said? So, I'm part of academy, so actually I am now a leader. Are you getting the idea now? And then some of the things as engineer Tafo asked a question, or I made a proposal about I think yes, a project. There are too many projects we can do. We can come together, set up a committee to develop a proposal to the state government that all commercial buildings, all commercial areas, and all buildings worth 50 million naira and above must have camera. And then government will do the integration of making sure it's integrated. We can make that proposal. They may not know. Put that proposal that every building worth 50 million naira and above must have cameras, surveillance cameras. All commercial establishments, bank, filling station, or what have you, must have it. All churches must have it. All mosques must have it. All government offices. because government will run away from the cost. So by the time you take the cost and individualize it, it will be small for everybody, and it will serve the purpose, and it will be the FNSE Asaba that's spearheaded it. So we can do it. Number two, this tree that have been cut here is an environmental hazard. We can also leave tree planting exercise by ensuring that we can procure at least 3,000 trees that we plant. Okay, are we getting the idea now? And then seek government support for additional ones. So first, set up a committee to see how many trees do we need to plant in Asaba? How many months will it take us to plant them? Who are going to be involved? How many can we afford, which is a call? How many can we not afford, and what is the call? Back a proposal. Because it's a problem when we are cutting down trees at this point in time. But we cannot do those trees also because they are not taking human mind. So what we do, you replace. NSC can also spearhead it. I don't know if I'm talking to you. So this is the second point, and a couple of other ones. Okay, so but let's articulate these 2 points. The other ones I can articulate them and send to us. So there are so many things we can do as engineers. Engineers think out of the box. Okay, there are always activities that we can engage on to help the system to move forward. I want to once again thank everybody for this opportunity to speak to us, to be asked questions, and to answer the question. God bless us all.
It's a round of applause for the presentation. You see, it's called the presentation. In the where the eyes what? Eyes what? B is what? A is what? You see that the presentation went in that direction. So what the elder sees sitting down, if you like, climb on the trees. He didn't go through his paper, but he told you what you need to be the best in the profession. And the presenter has pointed it up. You are here today to be inducted because you have found certified. And with one lecture, it has broadened understanding of your discipline, where you should be, how you should be, and what you should be like. You should be better than him. 2011, who call it weakness now? I think mine was 2012 in the Nero's Hotel. You know, and today he's the professor. And I was telling him that I think it was 2011 when he got his master's. I got my master's then. But we had two divides. He was in lecturing divide. I'm divide. If I was in this divide, I would have been a professor. You know, you understand? Yes, if I was in this divide, I'm not a professor. So your field standouts. The IPA should be what governs you. And the questions that have been asked, you have seen that everything revolves about engineering. Without engineering, the world stands at a fix. And the young man was saying, how, when, soon. I was more volatile than you in my days, and I can tell you. But as the speaker has said, when you get older, understand, you start to you understand the how. Majority comes in. But engineers should please, I want to beg that we have been put on a task to ensure that our country comes out at its best. And it's only us that can see the best and make sure it happens to us. So,
yeah, let me once again congratulate the speaker for your work well done. The last question for that lady there about what can we do to avoid vulnerability and create more resilience in our engineering work. You know, your work as an engineer is properly cut out. The very first one is public safety. I think it's there. Public safety. Safety, put it as S. In doing so, you will not spend billions when you should spend millions. That's what we call cost effectiveness. That is what? Economy, efficiency, but for simplification, let us call it efficiency. Your work must be efficient, both cost, material, and logistics. Efficiency as E. If all these are done and is not functioning, it is bragadash. And so F comes in there, which is a functionality. It must not fail. And that's where resilience is like shock absorber. Yeah. If you have great shock absorber in your car, when you are riding through Nigeria, many potholes or manholes, you feel confidence. When they brought my new car that time, my second-hand car from overseas, we call it Belgium. And I asked the one person to go through the pump in my house. I didn't hear any sign that it has passed through a pump. That is shock absorber. Resilience, the other word for it is a shock absorber. Are you able to, when there's flood, for example, they already planned that it should not happen. They already monitored from 2012 to 2022 what we should do, and you have done it. That is resilience. My brother here said it's like things are not there, it's like patching and leaking. The more you are patching, the more you are developing. It's like moving a circle with motion without movement, moving a circle. What we have been doing. But let me go to the before I round up. The one about leadership, which you mentioned. You know, I mentioned authority. You are when you're an authority, you're what? A leader. But what type of leadership are you giving? What he's doing now is leader of thought. Have you heard about that before? Leaders of thought. Academics, professionals are natural leaders of thought. That thought is for them, it's for us. Bring out the ideas, advocate for it. If possible, do it. If you don't do it, you have done your work. If they give you the money, proposals you are making in your administration. Is it all of it approved? When approved, what do? You do your best to make sure you deliver. So they are leaders of thought. Our political leaders, they are at the head of everything. If you are a chief executive, that's when you know the power of authority. I think they use red biro, some use green biro, and some use purple biro. I was general manager with the board in Delta, and I was, initially, I was using red biro. Then one day I sent my signature to the governor. You are not supposed to use red biro. Since that day, I became afraid of red biro. I was not using purple biro. So there are levels of authority. The final authority is the chief executive of the whole Nigeria. That's why Tinubu has a great powers. Something is removed. How did he say it? Something is and it's gone. But we didn't make a plan for how to cushion. That is the resilience. If there had been a plan on how to cushion something removal, by now we will be praising Tinubu for what he has for us. But that's a job he did for Nigeria. Without that job, Nigeria would have been bankrupt. But he did it, something is removed, and said, governors, take the money. And the governors, instead of getting money for what they should be doing, I wait for the But who will pay the bill? When the election comes, or we tell Tinubu, you will increase our hardship. Leadership must therefore come with discretion. Leaders of thought, discretion, be careful so that what you say will not lead you to losing your license. That is where I talk about foreign. But I will say openly, I will lose my license because we're now senior. But engineering and vision, there must be a ceiling. Engineering is not for all of. Engineering is not for all tropical array. It must be for the best brain. That's why in China, Before you produce them, 11 of them, they're all engineers. And not all the person can do engineering. But because of parents who want to impose on their children what they are not taught how to be, they now go around with, go to Korea, go to NUC, increase the number. There was a word you used, that engineering is now to be marketed. Come there, no, there should be a capacity. Strictly observe for engineering. Please quote me. Nigeria NUC should make sure that current capacity for engineering faculties is compliant to the current capacity for classrooms, for hostels, for laboratories, so that we can produce quality people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very grateful to have this kind of resource persons around us, especially the Deputy Vice-Chancellor around us. We also want to make welcome the branch chairman of Gili Branch, Engineer Grade 1 is here, and then his IPC Engineer Roland. Yes, he's here also. Well, I don't know if you have one or two things to add to what's been said, or you're good to go. You're good to go. So I want to thank you very much, and we'll move next to the presentation of to the induction of our new members. Please, all inductees stand up. All inductees stand up. Step forward, please. Step forward, please. Can we get the helmets, please? Get the helmets, please. The Nigerian Society of Engineers is proud to present this number. It's the street file. The street file. The street file. The Nigerians, we are already having, please put the flag. Hold on. Now we are told to dress